So we're going to talk about belt maintenance, and you would think you don't have to maintain your belt, but actually you do. We use an L&M belt. This belt alone is $30. The band buys it for you. And this buckle is called the Glen-esque oval military style buckle, and this thing's $45. Well, the first thing is prevention. This belt buckle is very sharp, and I could probably shave with this, really sharp, and it cuts into the leather. You can see right here, this piece here, and this dent, right? So as you're putting on the belt and as you're moving, you're cutting with these three pieces into the leather. And then on the other side, when you hook up your belt, and this person's like going to put in the belt, probably puts it in like this, and then turns it like that, and you can see that that makes that nice cut right there, and that means that this is really sharp. So what I'm going to use is a flat file, an old Sears Craftsman flat file for metal, and I'm just going to start working on these edges. I'm going to work on all these edges and just make sure that I get this nice and filed down so that it doesn't cut the leather. Okay, so what I've done here is I've flattened out the edges. You gotta, make sure that when you're doing this, you don't actually go on that angle, because you'll actually be kind of sharpening it, right? You wanna flatten out these pieces. We need a leather cleaner for that. I use this thing that I use for my car. You can use any real product that you might have to clean leather. I like these because they're nice and they do a great job, actually. Nice and small, they don't spray all over the place. The important thing here is when you're cleaning, never use like leather shoe polish or something like that, because that'll get all over your kilt and your hands and everything else. So here's what came off the belt. So while you're at it, you won't need the, this will still be wet, so you can do any piece of leather that you have. A special note for you drummers, you have other things that cut your belt, your carriers, your drum carriers and everything. So you want to look at your drum carriers to see, if you have special places that are cutting your belt. So now we're going to go into restoration. And what I use for that is edge ink. This is a shoemaker's thing. I got this on Amazon for about 10 bucks. There's also edge dressing, but I don't think the dressing does as good a job as the ink. So we got to shake this up. I shook out this thing because I don't want any filings to wind up in my belt. And you got to really protect whatever you're working on, because this stuff really, once it's on, it doesn't really come off, and that includes your fingers. So you shake it up. Would be a good idea to move this out of the way, and then we start working on the whole belt, the outside. We don't do the inside, right? So So when it comes time to put the belt buckle back on, you got to make sure you put it on the right way. That little piece there, the bow, that's the bottom of the buckle. So the easiest way to do this is to make believe the thing's on you. So you hook it there, and then put this little guy through and put it back together. So here's the final look at the belt. Here's where all the cuts were. And down on this side, here's where the other cuts were. So that's how to prevent, clean, and restore your belt.